Why rest feels impossible now. It's one of those things that creeps up on you slowly, without any big announcement or dramatic moment. You don't wake up one day and suddenly realize you can't rest anymore. It happens in small increments over months or years until one day you look back and see how far it's gone. You finish a long day, sit down on the couch or lie in bed, and expect the tension to ease. You expect the mind to quiet down, the body to soften, the weight of the day to lift. But it doesn't. The body is still, but the mind keeps moving. Thoughts keep coming. Not always big worries, but a steady stream of small things. Plans for tomorrow, replays of what happened today, random memories, a song stuck in your head, a worry about money or health or relationships that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. The phone is close by, and the urge to check it is strong. Even when you resist, the mind finds something else to occupy itself with. Rest, real, deep rest, feels like something from another time, something you remember from childhood or from a different phase of life, but can't quite reach anymore. This isn't the kind of tiredness that comes from physical labor or a big event. It's not the good tired you feel after a day of hard work with your hands or a long hike in the mountains, where sleep comes deep and dreamless, and you wake up renewed, ready for whatever comes next. This is different. It's a low-level exhaustion that lingers no matter how much you sleep or how little you do. A tension that sits in the background even when you're doing nothing. A feeling that the battery is always low, always needing a charge that never quite fills it up. You might notice it most clearly at night. You go to bed at a reasonable time, lights off, phone on silent or in another room, or at least you tell yourself that. You expect sleep to come quickly. You expect the mind to wind down like it used to, but it doesn't. Thoughts keep coming. The mind reviews the day in detail, what you said in that meeting, what you should have said, what someone else said that bothered you. It jumps to tomorrow, the list of things to do, the emails waiting, the decisions pending. It brings up random memories from years ago or worries about things that might never happen. Hours pass. You drift in and out, never quite falling into deep sleep. Morning comes and you feel like you barely rested. The body is heavy, the mind is foggy, the eyes are tired, and the day starts again with the same low energy, the same background tension. Or during the day, when you try to take a break, you sit down for lunch or a coffee break, intending to relax for a few minutes. But the mind doesn't relax. It starts planning the afternoon. It replays the morning. It thinks about messages you haven't answered or tasks you forgot. It jumps to what you'll do after work or on the weekend. Even 5 or 10 minutes of sitting still feels restless. You end up checking your phone or thinking about something productive to do. True rest, the kind where the mind goes quiet and the body softens completely, feels out of reach. The break ends and you feel like you didn't get one at all. Weekends can highlight it even more. You have no work demands, no schedule forcing you to be somewhere. You tell yourself this is your chance to recover, to recharge, to finally rest. You sleep in, stay in bed longer, watch something relaxing, do nothing productive. You might go for a walk or meet a friend or just lounge around. It's pleasant enough. You enjoy the lack of pressure, but by Sunday evening, you don't feel restored. You feel like you wasted time or like the rest wasn't enough. The tension is still there in the background. The mind is still scanning for something to do, something to check, something to respond to. The body is rested in a physical sense, but the nervous system is still humming, still on low alert. Monday comes and you feel like you need another weekend already. Vacations can be the biggest disappointment of all. You plan it for months, you save for it, you look forward to it as the big reset. You get away, change of scenery, no work email, different routine. The first few days feel good. The change is nice. You relax a bit. But then the mind starts again. You check work email just in case, or think about what you'll do when you get back. You feel guilty for not being more productive or more present, or the mind fills the space with worries or planning or comparing your trip to others you've seen online. By the end, you come home feeling like you need a vacation from the vacation. The deep recharge, the kind where you return feeling lighter, clearer, full of energy, never quite happens. The tension follows you even there. This isn't about being lazy or undisciplined or not trying hard enough to relax. It's not about lacking the right routine or app or technique. It's a fundamental change in how the mind and body experience downtime. Rest used to be passive and natural. You stopped moving and the system recovered on its own. The nervous system downshifted, the mind processed the day and let go. Sleep was deep and restorative. Waking was refreshed. Now, rest is active and effortful. The mind keeps working even when the body stops. The nervous system stays in a low-level alert mode, ready for the next input, the next demand, the next interruption. Rest becomes something you have to fight for, rather than something that happens when you stop. The modern world created this shift, and it didn't happen by accident. It happened through thousands of small designs and habits that add up to a life without true off switches. From the moment you wake up, the day is filled with things that keep the mind engaged and alert. The phone is the first thing many people reach for. Notifications popping up, messages waiting, news feeds updating, social media pulling you in with endless scrolls. The mind starts reacting, planning, consuming before you're even fully awake. Breakfast is eaten with a screen or podcast playing in the background. The commute or morning routine is filled with audio, scrolling, or mental planning for the day ahead. Work begins with emails piling up, messages demanding immediate reply, meetings scheduled back to back, tasks that feel urgent even when they're not. There's no space for the mind to ease into the day. Everything is on from the start. The workday is a constant stream of input and output. Emails, meetings, messages, tasks, decisions, feedback, adjustments. Even breaks are filled. Quick scrolls through feeds, checks of messages, podcasts in the background while you eat or walk to get coffee. The mind is always occupied, always anticipating the next thing, always preparing for the next demand. When work ends, the pattern doesn't stop. Dinner with family or friends, but phones on the table, TV on in the background, conversations interrupted by quick checks or notifications, streaming something while eating or talking. Leisure time is filled too. Shows to binge, feeds to scroll, games to play, plans to make for the next day or weekend. Even exercise is often paired with audio or tracking apps that turn it into another form of input and output. Sleep is the last chance for rest, but even there the day lingers. Dreams are fragmented by the residue of all the stimulation. You wake up multiple times with thoughts racing or the body tense. Morning comes and the cycle starts again. There's no true off switch. The nervous system never fully powers down. It stays in a mild state of activation, like a device that's always connected, always updating in the background. This constant engagement changes everything about how rest works. It keeps the body in a low-level stress mode, where cortisol doesn't drop as low as it should at night. The parasympathetic system, the rest and digest part, doesn't get full control. The body doesn't enter the deep recovery modes it needs for repair. Inflammation lingers a little longer. Immune function is compromised over time from chronic low-grade stress. Digestion suffers because the body is still in fight-or-flight mode. Heart rate variability decreases. All the small things that add up to health and energy take quiet hits from never fully recovering. The mind pays the biggest price. Focus becomes harder to sustain because it's used to interruption and quick shifts. Creativity dries up because there's no space for ideas to connect without force or pressure. Emotions feel heavier or muted because they're not processed fully during rest. Decisions feel more stressful because there's no mental clarity from true recovery. Relationships suffer from divided attention and the constant low tension. Joy feels shorter because the mind is already moving on to the next thing. Even simple pleasures, a good meal, a sunset, a laugh, don't land as deeply because the mind is half somewhere else. Many people try to fix it with more rest or better routines, longer sleep schedules, meditation apps, wellness retreats, no screen evenings, but it often doesn't work because the problem isn't the quantity of rest or the technique, it's the quality. The mind is trained to stay on, it's conditioned to expect input, it's adapted to constant stimulation. So when stimulation stops, it doesn't know how to rest. It creates its own stimulation, worries, planning, replaying conversations, imagining scenarios. Rest becomes mental work instead of recovery. This is why weekends or vacations often don't refresh like they should. You change the location or the schedule, but you bring the same mental patterns with you. The phone comes along. The habits travel. The expectation of availability follows. The mind fills the space with the same tension. You come back feeling like you need another break to recover from the break. The cost is cumulative and quiet. Energy levels drop over time, not from one big burnout, but from thousands of small non-recoveries. Focus becomes harder to find. Emotions feel heavier or flatter. Creativity and motivation fade. Relationships feel the strain of divided presence. Health takes small hits that add up. Poorer sleep quality, weaker immune response, higher inflammation, more frequent headaches or tension. Burnout arrives not as a crash, but as a slow slide into permanent low energy. Noticing that rest feels impossible is not weakness or laziness, it's awareness. It's the body and mind signaling that the rhythm is off, that the constant on state is not sustainable long term, that something essential, the ability to truly recover and recharge, has been eroded by the way life is structured now. Reclaiming rest doesn't mean doing less forever or rejecting all modern things. It means creating intentional conditions where rest can happen again. Small, consistent spaces where the mind is allowed to switch off without guilt, interruption, or immediate demand. Moments without input, without the need to respond or produce, without the pull of stimulation. Start with one thing, one small change a day. Put the phone in another room at night and leave it there until morning. Eat a meal without anything playing in the background. No screen, no audio, just the food and the moment. Walk outside without earbuds or a podcast, letting your thoughts wander or letting silence be there without filling it. Sit for 10 or 15 minutes doing nothing but breathing or looking out a window, noticing what comes up without judging or distracting yourself. Let the mind be bored for a while without escaping it. The first times will feel hard, the mind will rebel strongly. It will feel boring or wasteful or anxious. It will look for something to do, something to check, something to consume. That rebellion is normal. It's the conditioned part of you pushing back against change. It's the part that's used to constant input, fighting for survival. Don't fight it with force, just notice it and let it be. With consistent repetition, day after day, the rebellion softens, the spaces lengthen naturally. Rest starts to feel like rest again. The body relaxes deeper into downtime. The mind quiets without needing to be forced. Sleep improves, deeper, less interrupted, more restorative. Energy returns not as a burst from caffeine or motivation, but as a steady baseline from actual recovery. The low battery feeling fades. The background tension quiets. Rest feels impossible now because the world trained it out of us, one small habit at a time. But that training is not permanent. It can be noticed, resisted, and slowly, intentionally reversed. Rest is still there. It's waiting for the space we stopped giving it. All it takes is choosing one small space, one moment, one breath. and letting rest begin again.